Hello, everyone. Wait, why is it so dark? Oh, I haven't turned the light on. Wait one sec. Oh, there we go. How are we? We're back. We are ready for another weekend of Formula One action. We've got the US Grand Prix, and we've got actually loads to talk about because there is so much going on at this moment in time. 6 races left to go, and the season is just like slowly coming to this perfect little balance where we've got lots of drivers, lots of drama all coming into fruition. And obviously, we're still not 100% sure on 2022 yet. Giovinazzi's seat is still up for grabs from what I've been able to see anyway, unless that's been released today and I've just missed it. Giovinazzi's seat is still up for grabs. So there's so much to talk about. Should we just talk through? Let's start with the Drivers' Championship. Seems like a fairly good place to start considering this week's video. And my goodness me, it is just so... yeah, it's lights on. I did need the light on. That is fair, Luca. That is fair. Also, I think this is the first time that we've done a pre-race preamble whilst there has been a free practice on. It's the first time I've watched free practice in a very, very long time. But I've got it up in front of me just so I can have a little gander over. Like Fernando Alonso had a bit of an issue earlier on, something coming out of the bottom of his car, either oil or water, something along those lines, but didn't look great for Fernando Alonso a few moments ago. Bottas' 6th power unit, yeah, they're rattling through him at Mercedes. I'm quite worried, to be honest with you, and let's sort of delve into it then. We'll talk about the championship, because that's what I made a video on this week, and I exported lots and lots of different YouTubers' opinions. Thank you so much to everybody who was involved in that, not just the people who were in the video, but the people who helped me put it together, and the people who helped me get in contact with various YouTubers who would want to be part of that. But what a video to make, and really, really fun to get to know a few of those streamers and YouTubers a little bit more. And I'm hoping that I'll meet more and more people in the community. So I'd love to know if I could collaborate with somebody. Let me know who you would like that to be in the comments, because I would very much like to make a little list. I'd love to get involved in some more podcasts and stuff like that. But that's here and in the future for the next couple of races. Just watching. I feel like I'm going to get distracted by free practice a lot. I'm just trying to work out what's going on at the Mercedes garage. I think Hamilton came in for a bit of a practice pit stop there. And the camera just did like a twirl. It distracted me. Anyway, yeah, we're getting into the business end of the season. And I obviously asked lots of different YouTubers, lots of different streamers, and you guys on the Discord chat and in the chat, also on the community page, who is going to win out, Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen? Like, which of these two drivers is actually going to take this title? Because my goodness me, 6 races to go, 6 points between them, and it just looks like it could go either way. Every single race, it feels like we've got a new leader in the championship. It was, Hamilton for a little while, then Verstappen came back after the summer break and just went on this absolute run of form, and then over the past 3 or 4 races, you could argue that Lewis Hamilton has been the one that has been really, really good and really, really consistent. So I don't know. I can't pick a winner, and I really struggle to pick a winner. Hence, well, I just decided to ask everybody else, and loads of people, like pretty much everyone I asked, apart from 2 or 3 YouTubers, went for Hamilton. Like, hardly anybody went for Verstappen, and I kind of get it. Hamilton's been there, done it, but it also made me think, are we like indoctrinated by this like Lewis Hamilton just wins everything ness? Like the fact that Formula One has been like this for so many years now, where the last person to win outside of a Mercedes was Sebastian Vettel, and that feels like a very, very long time ago to me anyway. Like it feels like we've just been sort of tranced by Mercedes, and we just can't get over the fact that maybe someone else might win a title. It feels like they've just got this grip over the Formula One fan base, and I'd love to know your opinions on that, because personally, I think Max Verstappen looks pretty good for this title. Yes, he's been very unlucky throughout the season, but I'd say he's probably been the more consistent of the two. He's obviously led more laps than everybody else combined at this point in the season. He's also won more races than Lewis Hamilton. And Lewis Hamilton's made quite a few mistakes. Like, if you think back to Baku's the one that really sticks in my mind. Hamilton should have won that race. Obviously, Verstappen should have won that race, but after Verstappen gets that puncture, it's Hamilton's to lose, and he just makes that mistake with the brake bias, gets it completely wrong, and it's not a very Hamilton move. It's not a very Hamilton thing to happen. And hello guys, how are we? Yeah, here we go. Mallory, we're stateside. Like, you've got to give us what's it like on the ground in the US of A. Is there Formula One fever in the streets? How late am I? Not very late at all. We only start at, what, 6? I think I started at 6. But obviously, we've got free practice going on as well. So I'm trying to keep on task whilst maintaining also a little bit of an eye on free practice. But yeah, it's getting so close between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. I think maybe we're just getting to the point where people are backing Lewis Hamilton because he's been there and done it rather than because he's actually in the better car. But then saying that, the Mercedes has been really good over the last 3 races. I'm so indecisive on this. But quite a lot of the YouTubers I had on the channel for the video yesterday were very decisive in that they thought it was going to be Lewis Hamilton. And then a few of them were like, not sure who it's going to be overall. But as I said, just 6 points between the two of them and 6 races to go. So it is more than up for grabs for both of those drivers. Valtteri Bottas has also hit a little bit of form recently, has sort of edged his way ahead of Lando Norris and made a little bit of a buffer to Lando Norris as well. I think that's basically him wrapping up 3rd place for this season. I can't see anybody else getting anywhere close to Valtteri Bottas from that group behind. I think Norris is just a little bit too far off. And McLaren have had a couple of races recently where they haven't looked too great. And obviously their car has been phenomenal throughout the season overall. But there are tracks that they just don't suit, and that's fair enough. And I think Bottas has, since that Alfa Romeo news has dropped, has really taken a little bit of a push forward. And my goodness me, Valtteri Bottas just looks like a new man, doesn't he, considering... but it does look like Lando Norris has probably resigned to getting 4th or 5th. It's going to be close, actually, between Sergio Perez. I think Bottas, as I said, hit that form at the right time and is gone. But Perez and Norris, I can see it being very, very close between the two of them. And then also behind them, Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc. My goodness, wow, just the two Ferraris, 0.5 of a point between them at this point in the season. Goodness gracious me. Like, it literally could not be any closer. The smallest point margin that we've had this season is 0.5 points. And that just is astounding to me. Like, considering Carlos Sainz has only been there this season as well, and Charles Leclerc obviously has a little bit more experience, although you could say Charles Leclerc has been the unluckier of the two drivers too. So it's sort of balanced out perfectly for the two Ferrari drivers to be right on top of each other. And Daniel Ricciardo, again, hit a little bit of form when coming back off the summer breaks. Had a couple of races where it's been a bit tricky, like Zandvoort comes to mind, where it was very tricky for him, and last time out as well, bit tricky for him. But overall, Daniel Ricciardo has been really, really impressive since the summer break. Has definitely caught fire a little bit, and possibly could start to edge towards Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. I think he'd be very lucky to catch one of those two. I think it would have to go wrong for Ferrari at some race, some point this season, for the rest of these 6 races. But at the same time, Daniel Ricciardo's got a chance. Gasly, I think, for me, has just edged into 9th place and will probably keep that. Alonso last time out. If Alonso would have got a really solid points finish in Turkey, and I know it was actually Gasly that kind of cost him that ability to get those points. If Alonso would have stuck with Gasly a little bit closer, I think that would be more of a battle. But for me, I think Gasly will just edge that out. I think it's more interesting that Ocon, Vettel, Stroll, there's quite a few points between them, but 6 races left to go. And I think there's going to be incidents between Hamilton and Verstappen and the likes up the front there. And I think, again, there will be tracks where McLaren don't look too good, where Ferrari don't look too good. So it's an opportunity for the likes of Alonso, Vettel, Ocon to all sort of battle it out for that top 10 spot. in the championship. Tsunoda down in 14th. Feel a little bit bad for Tsunoda. I really hope that he doesn't get overtaken by George Russell, who is in 15th and has 16 points, just 2 behind Yuki Tsunoda. Latifi, 16th place, 7 points. Not too bad. Kimi Räikkönen, 17th. Giovinazzi, 18th with 1 point. And then the 2 Hasses, technically, Robert Kubica is actually in 20th place, but I felt bad for Mazepin, so I just stuck him in there and sort of pretended that Kubica didn't exist. Otherwise, Mazepin would drop off the bottom of the table, unfortunately. So we kept him on there just because I felt a little bit sorry for him. Bold prediction, one of the people with a special lid in the top 5. Oh yeah, most definitely. We're going to have a little look at the lids this weekend because there are some absolutely corking ones. And some lovely, lovely helmets that they've got along the side. But I kind of want Lewis to win. I don't know, man. I'd quite like a new winner going into this new generation, you know what I mean? I think it adds a little bit more spice. I think if Hamilton wins, we just say, you know, look, Mercedes absolutely dominated this era in Formula One. Like, that's clear to see. And the fact that they've won all of the titles in this era, then it's just the way that it is. But at the same time, I kind of hope that Max Verstappen can win one title in this era, and then it just adds a little bit of spice moving into next season, doesn't it? You know, like, we've got like can Hamilton bounce back from not winning at the same title over and over again? Or can, you know, someone else come into the fray a little bit? Can Max Verstappen continue this form into next season? There's a bit more of a story arc there, I think, if Verstappen wins the title this year. Did you listen to the Nico podcast with Jensen? No, it's on my watch list, bravo. Very, very much looking forward to it, though. I will have watched it by tomorrow, so we can have a little chat about it before qualifying if you want, but I have not watched it as of yet. It's been a busy little bee this week at work. I don't support Gasly getting points on his license. No, I don't either, to be honest with you. Personally, I think the 5-second penalty was pretty harsh. Like, Sergio Perez is right on his left-hand side, and I don't think Pierre Gasly has many places to go there, to be honest with you. And there was only a tiny little bit of contact between the two. And yes, it was very unfortunate for me and could easily have happened to literally any driver out there. But Fernando Alonso is very, very aggressive on those first few laps. And we've seen that come to fruition for him. And he always seems to make up places on the first couple of laps. And it went wrong for him once. You know, Turkey, it went wrong for him. And literally everywhere else I can think of, you know, I'm thinking like Monza, where he made up so many places in the first couple of laps in both the sprint and the race itself. You know, sprint qualifying in Silverstone was dominated by Alonso too. I think Russia, he made up places by going around turn 2 rather than through turn 2. But every single start of the race, he does make up positions by being aggressive. And this one time, it just didn't go his way. So I think Alonso maybe a little bit hard done by, but at the same time, no, a bit of a racing incident for me. And I think Gasly didn't really warrant the penalty, let alone points on his license too. So no fever in South Florida. It does make me wonder, like, how many US Grand Prix are we going to have in the future? Because obviously we're going from 1 to 2 next year. We've got Miami coming in. There's lots of talk. I saw the WTF1 video about Las Vegas as well. It's very interesting. How many races we will end up with in the US. And like, the US is absolutely massive. It kind of makes sense to have more than one race there, to be honest with you. Because if you think about, the US is effectively like the size of Europe. So it makes sense. Like, we have 8 or 9 or 10 races in Europe every single season. Why not have a few more races in the US? But I know what you mean. It's kind of nice to have races in different countries, but I'd quite like maybe a good couple more races in the US, because you got like Canada, then you got the US like maybe 2 or 3 times, and then Mexico in there as well, and you sort of got a good 5 races in North America, and then you can head down to South America from that point. Obviously we've got Brazil. Have we got any more South American races? I don't think we have at the minute. It's just Brazil, isn't it? And then we've got a lot of Asian races, a lot of European races, and obviously the big talking point at this moment in time is, in a couple of years, are we going to see an African race on the calendar? Like, already 23 races, but we're looking to add more into the Formula One calendar madly. Like, it just doesn't make too much sense to me. Gasly solid P9, maybe P8. What in the drivers' championship? In the drivers' championship, I think he's got P9 absolutely. The 50 race plus calendar I showed you has 3 races in the US. There you go. So possibly 3. Yeah, that would make sense, right? Florida or Miami, sorry, Miami, Texas, where we are right now, and then also Las Vegas would be pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Africa is massive. Like, I completely agree with that. But it's whether or not they want to constitute a race there. And it's adding another continent is very tricky. It was very, very tricky. Just like logistically for Formula One, adding a brand new continent, the additional travel is massive. And I know people talk about South Africa quite a lot. That is a really long way away from any other race on the calendar. Like, if you actually think about it, like, ooh, as Nikita Mazepin has had a little spin through the gravel. Is he going to touch the barrier? No, gets himself off on the grass. Not too bad. Yeah, if you actually think about it, South Africa is absolutely like light years away from every other race. So I'm not sure about the South Africa. Like, I'd love to see an African Grand Prix, don't get me wrong, but if it's like the 25th or 26th race on the calendar, I think maybe we could do without it. Or maybe, you know, we need a rotation system where, okay, we drop these 2 races this year and have a race in South Africa, and then we don't have a race in South Africa for the year after that. Like, there's got to be a balance between these somewhere, because we can't just keep adding races to the calendar, which does not make sense. Let's talk about the Constructors Championship, and then we'll do the helmets this weekend, because they are some absolutely wonderful, wonderful helmets. Miami Kota Indy, yeah. Oh, so we could end up with 4 then, if Las Vegas gets added, right? Am I right? Oh, no. Possibly. Actually, oh, you know what I could do? I've just realised that I've been listening to the background music, but you have not. So here you go. Here's some music for you. If you like. Hopefully it doesn't like go over my voice too much. Actually, I'm trying out little extras. Little extras. Let me know if you like little background music whilst I'm chatting. Absolute nonsense. 13 likes on the stream. Thank you all so much as well. Just thought I'd check it. And that is mad. I don't think we ever get more than 10 on a preview. So very, very good. Wow. Thank you very much. Where were we? The Constructors Championship. Mercedes, I think, are gonna probably walk away with it at this point. Mainly Sergio Perez versus Bottas for me. Obviously, Hamilton and Verstappen are going to be within a couple of points of each other. I think Bottas is going to eke out a fairly good lead over Sergio Perez. I don't think that's Sergio Perez's fault, to be honest with you. You know, he's brand new to the team. He's had a fairly decent season here and there. And then he's had a few races where it really hasn't got his way. But I can't think we can blame him too much for that. It's a very, very too loud. Good. We'll drop it down considerably. Yeah, I think Sergio Perez hasn't had too bad a season for me. Like, considering he's coming to Red Bull, and we all know that second Red Bull seat is absolutely cursed to the 9s, to be honest with you. Like, Gasly couldn't do it. Now Albon is coming back into Formula One, but not in Red Bull and not as part of the Red Bull system anymore either. So yeah, Sergio Perez has had a bit of a tough time at Red Bull, give or take the few races. He has obviously won a race this season, let's not forget that as well. But I do think Bottas will edge out Sergio Perez, and therefore Mercedes will easily sort of be in front of Red Bull by the end of the season. McLaren Ferrari is where it's really interesting for me. Again, so close between the two. Lando Norris has been on flames this season, by far and away my driver of the year, but McLaren only 7.5 points. That is not a lot of points when these guys have been consistently getting into the top 5, top 6 places over the last few races. You know, it's always been a Ferrari or a McLaren up there and amongst it. We've got to remember that McLaren did have that 1-2 in Monza as well. So Ferrari being this close to them still is quite impressive in my opinion. I know that Daniel Ricciardo had a bit of a tough start to the season, but Ferrari have been able to hang themselves into that third place position and keep holding on. And again, I have no idea who's going to come out on top there. Personally, I prefer Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc as a team. I just think the balance between those two is really, really good. Oh, still too loud. I'll just listen to it by myself. We'll try again. What was I saying? Ferrari, something about Ferrari. Ferrari have the better balanced team, I think, in my opinion. Like Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, I really like the balance between those two. I think Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris can get there, but again, I don't know. I don't have the same feeling when it comes to the McLaren team. I think possibly just because Daniel Ricciardo has sort of been there, done it, lots of experience in Formula One. I was expecting a bit more from him. As I said, Lando Norris has been by far and away my driver of the season, but whether or not he's been overall good enough to like carry the team when fighting Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, we're going to find out. And yes, it's very close between the two. Alpine AlphaTauri, also a little bit of a yeah, exactly. Daniel needs to score some consistent points over the next few races for me to really believe that Daniel Ricciardo can. The music is good, but too loud. I'll try. It was just a thought process because I always have music on, but I never divulge it with you guys. So I thought it might be nice to have in the background. It's too loud, but we'll try a different time. It's fine. Alpine and AlphaTauri, also quite interesting to me. I know Gasly is absolutely carrying that AlphaTauri team. Like, those 92 points are very heavily weighted in Gasly's favour, whereas Alpine is more 50-50 between Alonso and Ocon, because Ocon had a great start to the season, and then Alonso's had a really good sort of middle period to now, and then Ocon really has hit form since sort of Silverstone, has had quite a few races where it's not been great, but it's a good team that Alpine have got there, and both drivers have hit good form at various points in the season. AlphaTauri, Gasly is just absolutely trying to drag that team to 5th place in the Constructors Championship. I think, again, if Gasly had a different teammate, it would probably be fairly easy for AlphaTauri to pick up 5th in the championship, and that's no real slight on Yuki Tsunoda. You know, he's come into a Formula One at a very tricky time. In a team where there is lots of pressure. He's come in at a very young age. He hasn't been that far away from F4, F3, F2 in the past 3 years. He's, made that step up every single season. And yeah, I feel a bit bad for Yuki Tsunoda, but he definitely needed this year to maybe bed in. And, there's 6 races left to go. We could see an absolute Yuki fest over these last 6 races. Suddenly he picks up points in every single one of those races, and we're like, wow, what an end to the season, and goes into the next season with massive confidence. But it's going to be a tricky balance between AlphaTauri and Yuki Tsunoda. Obviously, he is there next year, but it's tough for him with Gasly as his teammate, to be honest with you, and with the team being so pressurized as it is. Aston Martin, I think, are 7th place. I think they can't really argue with that. I think they're just going to be there for the rest of the season. Williams in 8th is amazing, by the way. 23 points. When Alfa Romeo had 1 point, I was sort of like, okay, that's Alfa Romeo with 8th place wrapped up. My goodness me, Williams, 23 points. And a 2nd place finish for George Russell. Wow. They more than deserve that 8th place finish. Alfa Romeo in 9th place, and then Haas, of course, the only team not to score a point yet. I'd love to know, do you think Haas can manage to sneak a point this season? Like, is it actually possible, or would they just need basically everybody to have issues? Like, we're seeing a lot of engine issues. We're seeing a lot of drivers, there could be an incident between Hamilton and Verstappen. There could easily be a crash between the likes of, I don't know, like a Daniel Ricciardo or Charles Leclerc, something like that, when they're battling in and amongst the sort of third, fourth, fifth, sixth places. And we could see engine issues from the likes of Mercedes, so that maybe Bottas drops out of a race too. Like, it's not inconceivable that we have so many people drop out of a race that Mick Schumacher could maybe pick up a point, but not sure whether that's ever really going to happen in a... Like, it's a good thought experiment, but I don't think it's ever really going to happen, unfortunately. Let's have... What should we do? Predictions? Or should we do the helmets from the weekend? Let's do the helmets. Why not? Because I think there's some absolutely stunning helmets on show this weekend. Shout out to WTF1. I'm going to use your website because there is some absolutely top draw helmets on show this weekend. Let's have a little scroll. Lando Norris is first. I quite like this Lando Norris helmet. I've heard people, 50-50 on it. Stars and stripes. Blue, red, and white. It's very, American. It's got the little quadrant logo on there. A little bit of Norris, bit of Bitcoin. No, that is not Bitcoin. What is that? Is it Bitcoin? No, Bitsil. Bitsil? Bitsy? I have no idea. For some reason, in my head, I read that as Bitcoin. But it's definitely not, is it? It's definitely not Bitcoin. Here we go then. But yeah, Lando Norris, very, very nice little helmet for me, to be honest with you. I very much like it. The M on the side, McLaren obviously, little McLaren logo in there. The sort of dirtied look, I quite like it. I think as helmets go, it's not Lando Norris's best helmet. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a fan of it over some of the other helmets, even that we saw last time out. Like his helmet in Turkey, I think was much nicer than this one. But I don't dislike it. I don't think it's a bad helmet. I think it's quite a pretty helmet. And it's very classic, isn't it? Like, you can't really go wrong. US Grand Prix, red, white, and blue, stars and stripes. It's very down the middle. He hasn't pushed the boat out, but it's very down the middle and it's very on the nose. Feels very on the nose, doesn't it? Like, what do you think of when you think of America? Oh, the flag. Okay, let's just chuck that on a helmet. Like, it feels good, but very on the nose. And obviously inspired. I don't know. I do like it, but it feels, I don't know. M is for America. Could be. George Russell, right. This is where you're going to hate me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. I quite like the Sheriff Star. I get what he's gone for. Again, it feels very on the nose. We're in America. We're in Texas. Cowboys. We saw Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen. That's still one of my favorite pictures ever of them in their Red Bull overalls that were like cowboy-esque. When was that? Like 4 years ago? I'm trying to remember when Daniel Ricciardo was at Red Bull. But I don't like the sort of wood effect. I'm going for, I think it's a wood effect, right? It just kind of looks brown. Like, from a distance, it just kind of looks brown with a star on it. And I just don't think that's the way that I'm there. Hello, Russell, for world champion. How we doing, mate? I'm not sure about the brown. Doesn't sit well with me. I like the fact that it's obviously got the 63 George Russell logo in the star. Quite like that. I like the Williams band around the top. I think it works if it was just a different color underneath. I think it needed something else to like make it pop a bit. I'm just not a massive fan of the brown. Oh, see, this is what I've said. I was talking to the guys in Discord and people were loving it. And I was talking to guys at work today and they were loving it. But I don't know. I think, I don't know what color would look good under. I think maybe just like white. Or like something really basic underneath. I'm just not a fan of the wood. Yeah, it is a wood effect. I just don't really like the wood effect. But also, I feel like I'm talking absolute like out of my mind here because I have no design. Like I feel like if you were talking to pretty much any of the other Formula One creators on YouTube, they have a background in design. Tomo was obviously a designer for a little while. So was Tom from WTF1. Like they've worked in design. I have no background in design, but I'm not a fan of the Russell lid for this weekend. I think it's just it's like one thing too much. It doesn't need the wood effect. Could have just gone for like a base color, a color that really worked, and then it would have looked exquisite. For me, the wood effect is a little bit too much. Talking about too much, but actually I quite like, is Valtteri Bottas. And there's a bit of a weird, like I'm going to completely go back on myself because I'm saying that the wood effect is a bit too much. But Valtteri Bottas's helmet here is a lot. There's a lot going on here. Obviously Austin, Texas there. On one side, you've got the guitars, we've got the street signs, but I'm not 100% sure that I don't like it. Like, I feel like I should not like it. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on, and I don't really like helmets that are really, really busy. But I don't know. I quite like it. Maybe it's the color scheme. I quite like the blues and oranges and how they sort of mix together. A bit of red in there, the white decals as well. Like I think just the color scheme works exquisitely, and it's not like so busy that I dislike it. It's quite nice. I just quite like it. I quite like Valtteri Bottas' helmet, and I feel like I shouldn't do because it's so busy. But it's just very nice. It's just very nice helmet indeed. Is there another little look at it from a different side? Not really. Just Valtteri Bottas holding it. Has anyone else seen that picture that Valtteri Bottas had like a carrot in his drink? Can anyone explain to me? Is that a thing? Because I was so confused by that picture of Valtteri Bottas. He's like sitting, playing, I think he's either like doing a puzzle or playing a board game, like a bit of Monopoly on the go. And obviously, you know, if you're sitting, you play a Monopoly, it's a long game. You've got yourself a drink there. Makes sense. Carrot in it. Not so sure. Lost me there, Valtteri. I enjoy Monopoly. I love the fact you're spending time with your family. I enjoy that you've got a little drink there. You've set in. You're obviously there for the evening. That's a pretty good idea. Carrot in the drink. Is that for a snack? It's in some ice. That's going to be a very cold carrot. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit lost by it, but I do like your helmet. So, Valtteri Bottas sliding into the positives there at the end with the helmet, but very confused. Daniel Ricciardo, I like this. Blacked out, lightning stripes on it. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. The little lightning effect, the honey badger at the back, the 3 on the top. It almost looks like Darth Vader. I feel like if Darth Vader was a Formula One driver, or what's the guy, not Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine. I feel like if Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine became Formula One drivers, this is the kind of thing they'd go for. Know what I mean? The lightning hands would definitely come into fruition. It's got that black sort of base color of the Sith guys. Got a bit of red in there. Obviously, their lightsabers are red. Like, it just very much goes in with the Sith branding. And I just don't feel like that's very Daniel Ricciardo, but I do really like the helmet. Like, Daniel Ricciardo is probably the least Sith driver. Probably a good Formula. When we have the off season, I haven't got any Formula One to actually talk about. I feel like this is definitely the kind of video that could pop up. Which Formula One driver is a Sith Lord? And I don't think it's Daniel Ricciardo. Like, he just seems way too nice to be a Sith Lord. But I do quite like the helmet. Again, it's very basic. Maybe I'm just very basic. It's quite basic, isn't it? You know, the matte black, or the shiny black, the gloss black with the lightning bolts through it. I quite like it. I quite like it. It just doesn't feel very Daniel Ricciardo. I think that's the only thing. If it was on... Who would make a good Sith Lord? If it was on, like... Probably Raikkonen, right? Probably Raikkonen. If it was on Raikkonen, I feel like I was gonna try and find a driver on the grid that I didn't like, but I was just looking at all the names and I was like, actually, all of these guys are fairly nice people. So I don't know who would be the Sith Lord out of the group. Mazepin, surely, right? Mazepin. If there was a driver that I really hated on the grid and they were a Sith Lord, I feel like this would be the perfect helmet for them. But Daniel Ricciardo's a bit of a joker, isn't he? He's a nice guy, has a bit of a laugh with everybody, and he just doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would have a Darth Vader helmet. Although it does remind me of the Darth... Was it Darth Vader that... Or it was just Star Wars in general, wasn't it? When the Star Wars film came out and Red Bull did the livery in Monaco for Star Wars, that was very good. I did enjoy that. But I do quite like the helmet. I think it's another one that is going to divide opinion. It's going to divide opinion, this one. But I do quite like it. Oh, you missed FP1? Oh, that's a shame. Isn't it FP2 now or FP1 now? One of them is on right now. And I stopped watching it because I was getting too distracted. Lance Stroll. Oh, I have not seen this one at all. Lance Stroll. I haven't seen this one. Did everyone else know about this? Did the McLarens have pace this weekend? I really hope so. I really hope so. For Lando Norris' sake more than anybody else. I really hope so, because he does deserve a win at some point this season. I'm not sure it's going to come, but he does deserve a win. Where were we, though? Lance Stroll. I haven't seen this helmet at all. Lance Stroll's USGP helmet is almost ready to hit the track. Almost ready. What's it look like? Ooh. Okay, it's just like a teaser shot. Have we not got like a full... We haven't got a full look at the helmet so far. But it looks like it's going to be like a solar system type theme from what we can see. See the little Earth there and some sort of concentric rings. Possibly a sun at some point at the top or the bottom, maybe. It's difficult to judge because we can only see that tiny little bit of it. Do I like it? I like the blue. I like the sort of... Well, I'm a physicist, so I quite like the nod to the galaxy. It looks like there's going to be other planets on there, doesn't it? There's some sort of rings right at the bottom. In the bottom right corner, you can kind of see some more rings on there. But do I like it? The little Earth, I'm assuming Mercury, Venus above it. Maybe. It depends what it looks like. Maybe I should have a little look for another picture of it. Maybe this could be good. It's got to be done very well. Also, what's it for? Why the solar system? Is there a thing I'm missing? Is he doing like a SpaceX like thing? Wouldn't surprise me if Elon Musk was like, do you mind having this put on your helmet? Just to help us out a little bit. Especially because, you know, billionaires can just do what they want. So it does make sense that he would. Interesting. I'll have to sort of give that one a to be decided later on. Maybe we'll have another look at Lance Stroll's helmet tomorrow during qualifying, because I'm not sold on just that picture alone. It could look very busy. Stroll's ego helmet, because he's at the center of the universe. Oh, now you've changed it completely now, because he's going to be in the middle, isn't he? He's going to be in the middle, and all the planets are going to be around him, like he is the center of the solar system. He is the sun, to be fair, of Aston Martin, the team. So it does make sense. It's got a lot of context there with Stroll's helmet. He is the sun. He is the sun of the team. Therefore, center of the universe, center of the solar system. Makes sense. Now, how about this? How about this? This is a little bit of me. This is very much, if I was a Formula One driver, what I would be aiming for. This would be the minimum requirement for what I'd want in a helmet. Because the Yuki Tsunoda Canada helmet is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love this helmet. I absolutely love this helmet. This is like the color scheme, the oranges, the reds, the yellows, the fact it's got that AlphaTauri dark blue underneath, and then that tiny sort of shimmer of light blue at the bottom. Obviously, it has to have the AlphaTauri Red Bull logo in there because all the Red Bull guys always have to have that on their helmets. But, oh, it is just very nice, isn't it? It's just very, very nice, this Yuki Tsunoda helmet. I'm a big fan of his work with this helmet. I think if I was a Formula One driver, this is the kind of thing I'd have. Yeah, if it's a busy helmet, it's either perfect or awful. There's a very good middle ground somewhere, but I do really love this helmet. I don't think this is that busy, is it? Yeah, it's 0% American. Like, you can tell that this was like the Canada helmet, and then Canada got cancelled, and then he was like, USA is just underneath it, in it. It's not too far from Canada to Texas. I mean, it's very far, but it's not too far. It's the next country along, so I'm just gonna wear this helmet, and I can't blame him because the helmet is beautiful, and it makes sense that you'd want to wear it. I'd want to wear it. So I'd be like, yeah, Yuki, you've made a good choice there. You definitely should wear this helmet, even though we're not going to Canada this year. I'm more than happy with that, and I think this could go up there as helmet of the season for me. Helmet of the season. I'm definitely gonna do a like big tier list video at the end of the season for helmets. I think we've got to do tier list. We've got to do tracks. We've got to do helmets. Let me know if you want to see any other tier lists. I'm going to tier list the races, which races were best, which races were worst. I'm going to tier list the helmets, which helmets were best, which helmets were worst, and rank them in between. But let me know if you'd love to see any other tier lists, because they're the two I've got in mind at the minute. There could be more added, obviously, at the end of the season when we finally know who's going to win this championship. Oh, look at this helmet, the AlphaTauri at the back, very, very lovely indeed, very, very lovely indeed. Like I'm just enjoying this helmet a lot, to be honest with you. It's going to be up there. It's going to be up there. They're not marijuana leaves. Don't ruin it. Are they not maple leaves? Are you joking? Or is that true? I wish I could read it, because it's all in Japanese, so I cannot. Are they actually? Oh, that changes. I thought it was Canada-esque. Like, the colour scheme's very Canada-y too. It's got the red in there, Canada. The white, bit of blue. It feels very Canada-y. But maybe. It is legal across the pond. So it would make sense to trying to push drugs on these children. Push drugs on the children of Formula One. Yuki Tsunoda's only like 13 years old, isn't it? Fernando Alonso. Not a fan. Not a fan. I don't really get it. Like, I get this a volcano. Tier list every driver's 22 races. Yeah, oh, that's a good. Well, I mean, we don't really have to tier list the drivers, do we? Because they end up in the Drivers' Championship, and that kind of tiers it for us. Mallory, you're changing my complete opinion on this helmet. Well, you're not really. I still really like the helmet, but I just thought it was Canada. I thought it was, representing Canada, one of my absolute favourite tracks. But now, changed my mind. If it's not representing Canada, let's take a little bit away from it. Just because I absolutely love and adore the Canada track, and I'm so happy that it's back next year, and really, really hoping that it still goes ahead. But that just takes a little bit away from me. Just takes a little bit away. Where were we? Fernando Alonso's helmet, the Volcano. It's okay. I don't massively like it. I don't dislike it too much. Again, I quite like the colours. I think just helmets with orange on them, I'd quite like. Very simple, man. I've literally got Orange and blue on the wall. So, the orange, the blue, it's going to look good in the Alpine car, but I don't think it's everything I want it to be. It just looks like something I could have drawn, which I know was like the complete opposite argument I had for Lando Norris's and George Russell's helmet, in that they were too designed. This feels a little under-designed. It feels like I could have drawn this, and probably got it fairly spot on. Is there any other pictures? No, that's it. But just from the back here, is it for a particular reason, La Palma? Is it like Vettel's helmet last week? Where has it got like a significance behind it? Have I missed something like obvious? Have I missed a major event in the news, and this is like for it? Was there a volcano eruption? I feel like that's kind of news I'd probably have heard, but maybe not. Oh, tier list every driver's GP, like all Hamilton's GP. That would be a hell of a stint of tier list. That would be 20 different tier lists, but possibly. Oh, okay. It is a tribute helmet. Okay, that adds a little bit to it then. That does add a little bit to it. I thought it was. I didn't know what it was for. I didn't know what it was for. Thank you, Mallory, for pointing that out to me. In that case, like, it's a very nice nod towards that and those people suffering. That just completely changes it for me. That does completely change my outlook on it. I thought it was just like a stylistic choice, but now that I know that it's actually to bring awareness to people, like it's literally brought awareness to it for me, that completely changes my opinion on it. So the fact that it's bringing awareness to that incident, the fact that it's brought that awareness to me, I quite like it. I appreciate the message and I appreciate what it's done, and it's informed me, and therefore will inform hundreds of thousands of other people across it as well. So I hope that it goes towards helping that cause and educating people. I just hope more people see it and look into it. And ask that question, why is it there? What is it for? I'm sure he's explained at some point in an interview that I'll watch. In that case, it's a very nice helmet. It's a very nice tribute. Like, it's not the nicest helmet, don't get me wrong. Like, as a design, I'm not so sure about it. But as a message, it's a very good thing to put across. And, like, it gets the point across. Like, now you've explained it to me, I understand exactly why he's gone for that. It's got the little heart in the lava, the 14 in the lava. That's pretty good, but not sure. Not sure on the design. Very happy with the message. We'll go with that. But yeah, that's it. What have we got? We've got finally then predictions for the weekend. I'll pop mine up first, and I'll put myself under the cosh to begin with, and then we'll go through some of your guys' opinions too. So my predictions. Now, I was sitting down. I was a little bit unsure. 6 races left to go. I think, personally, Hamilton's going to come out on top this one. I think just because he was very unlucky last time out, obviously. Went for a completely different option. Looks really, really quick, even though he had that grid penalty. And did look the quickest car out there, apart from Valtteri Bottas, but Valtteri Bottas had a lot more space than Lewis Hamilton did, and Lewis Hamilton had to do some very good driving to get himself up into 5th place, and we were all looking at it like, wow, is he going to actually like grab a podium from this position? Didn't quite manage to get that podium, but hopefully soon. Hamilton, yeah, I've gone for the win. Verstappen, I've gone for 2nd. I think, again, it's going to be very close between those two. Alonso, 3rd place. I just want to see Alonso get a podium, okay? I want to see Alonso get a podium. I can't see it coming any later in the season. I just don't. I think as the crunch of the season comes towards us quicker and quicker, I think Alonso is going to lose out on that opportunity to get a podium. So I think this is like the perfect time for him to pick one up. You know, it's not so close to the end of the season where like the likes of McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull are all going to be like panicking about getting points on the board as quickly as possible. But at the same time, it's you know, it's a nice 6 races is a nice like we could see some drivers take their engine penalty. We could see some drivers decide to, you know, change up some components. And it doesn't bode well that his engine or something underneath his car literally just blew up moments ago in free practice. But I've gone for Alonso in third place. Best drive, I've gone Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo loves the US of A. He loves the US Grand Prix. He's into a little bit of form. Obviously, there's a couple of races in the last few where he hasn't been great, but overall since the summer break, I think he's been very, very good. Obviously, he's got a win to his name. I think he's going to get a good drive in, possibly like a 4th or 5th place finish, and a good drive behind that McLaren wheel. George Russell gone for wildcard. Feel like this weekend, the sheriff's in town. George Russell feels like he could make a difference. He could, you know, go out there, do something special, and jump out of nowhere into the points again and possibly even take over Yuki Tsunoda. And I've gone for Sergio Perez as my struggle of the weekend, mainly because last time out he was very, very good. And therefore it feels like, you know, in this 50-50 season between Perez and Red Bull, where Perez turns up one race and is absolutely abysmal the next, I feel like that was a good shout. He was very, very good last time. He's probably not going to be great next time out. But again, could go either way. Yeah, Gasly, usual P6, most definitely. Check your Clubhouse soon. I definitely need to get on Clubhouse. Been meaning to for the longest time. It's just very tricky that I obviously stream and then it's right after and I have to usually do stuff and sort of put it on. Ferrari on the podium. Well, Anne, I don't know why I said that so forcefully. Anne, if you want to get involved, you can head over to the community tab and put in your predictions. Let's have a look at what you guys have said in terms of the US Grand Prix. If you want to put your money where your mouth is, head over to the community tab. We've got Swax, Bottas P1. He's gone crazy. He's lost it. Bottas is only going to win one race this season. He won it last time. That is all for Bottas now. Verstappen second and Lewis in third. Best drive Bottas. Wildcard Kimi. Okay. And struggle Vettel. This is something that I think is interesting and quite a few people have put on there. Struggle Vettel. I don't know. Is it going to be that much of a struggle for Vettel? I can't see it being like too heavy on Vettel. Like, don't get me wrong, Aston Martin are nowhere near where they wanted to be this season. They probably won't finish in the points, but I don't think it's going to be like a big struggle for Vettel. I don't think he's going to like really struggle for pace or anything like that. You know, I think if he can qualify in the top 10, he's doing very well. If he can get anywhere near finishing in the top 10, he's doing pretty good too. So I'm not sure about the Vettel struggle, but we'll see. We'll see. SHT, what's SHT said? I want to make quite a bold prediction for the top 3 this weekend. Verstappen, yeah, that is fair. That is a very out there rogue shout, Verstappen, to be honest with you. No, I don't mean. Verstappen first, Perez second, Leclerc third. Neither Mercedes driver in there. Very, very outlandish of you. And I get going against my Perez struggle. Best drive Sainz. He was absolutely by far and away the best driver out there last time. So, you know, if you can continue that form, most definitely. Love the Alonso wildcard. Struggle Tsunoda. I feel like Tsunoda, like as much as I picked Tsunoda last weekend for my struggle, I feel like we shouldn't pick on Tsunoda anymore. I feel like we can't have a struggle of Tsunoda. Because, like, what is a struggle for Tsunoda really this year? Because he's been pretty poor for the majority of it anyway. It's the same as like you could pick Mazepin for the struggle every single weekend because he's going to finish last of everybody who's on the track, but it's not a very exciting choice for a struggle. Although Tsunoda's struggle is a fair choice. Maori, Hamilton, Bottas. Oh, I feel like Bottas could be up there. I kind of wanted to just go for Alonso for a little bit of spice. And also, as I said, I feel like Alonso is due a podium at some point this season. I think this is maybe his last opportunity to get one. So Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen is very interesting. Hamilton best driver, which means he's going to have to come out and do something special. So you never win driver of the day by starting first and finishing first. It just never happens. So if you're saying Hamilton's going to get the best drive, it means he's also going to have to have done something a little bit special in the race. Wildcard Russell, same as mine, and struggle Raikkonen. Again, how does Raikkonen struggle? What would a Raikkonen struggle look like? Maybe just like a DNF, or possibly, not getting in front of Giovinazzi, or finishing behind a Haas. Let's say if Kimi Raikkonen finishes behind a Haas, then he is indeed struggling. Let's move on a little bit. Adam with a great shout. Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen. This seems quite common, but Bottas with driver of the day. So flipping it around to the other Mercedes driver. Again, meaning that if Bottas is going to pick up that driver of the day, he's going to have to do something a little bit special. Maybe just defend from Verstappen for a little bit, like he has done not once this season, not once at all. So, yeah, that would be very different for Bottas, to be fair. Wildcard Russell. Love the shout for Wildcard Russell, by the way. I think everybody's gone for that. And again, struggle Tsunoda. Poor little Tsunoda. I feel for him. Norris. Wow. Yes. Yes, monster. Norris, P1. Yes, please. Sign me up. Inject it into my veins. It is my birthday in 3 weeks' time. I think we've got the Mexican Grand Prix or something on my birthday. And I will be wearing some Mclaren merch. I bought myself a lovely little McLaren jumper to wear on stream for my birthday. So, Lando Norris, P1, absolutely love it. Verstappen, Hamilton, the best Verstappen as well. So Verstappen not only second place, but also driver of the day. Again, it's going to have to do something pretty mesmeric to get himself driver of the day. Wildcard Tsunoda. Ooh, I quite like Wildcard Tsunoda. I feel like struggle Tsunoda's a bit harsh on him. Even though I did it last week. And I feel like wildcard Tsunoda is quite nice. Like wildcard Tsunoda means like Tsunoda gets like an 8th place finish or does some audacious overtaking. And I'd quite like to see that. Struggle again, Vettel. People not so sure about Vettel. And Blender, hope Lando gets a P1. Me too, mate. Me too, most definitely. First place Hamilton, Merc dominance as per usual at COTA. I mean, yeah, that is fair. They do absolutely dominate the track. Bottas and Verstappen. So people thinking Bottas is going to be up there. And to be fair, Bottas probably should be in the top 3. Like, he's looking very, very good. Again, I was talking about Daniel Ricciardo hitting a little bit of a vein of form. Bottas has hit a hell of a vein of form as well. And has got a win to his name now. So Bottas is definitely going to be up there too. Best drive, Gasly. Struggle again, Vettel. I'd love to know in the chat, why do you think Vettel is going to struggle so much this weekend? Is it just like, I know he struggled last weekend, but he went for a completely rogue tyre strategy. It wasn't his fault that the team were like, should we go for mediums? Should we see if mediums can work? And he was like, yeah, let's see if mediums work. And then he just battered every single wall throughout the track and spun around in every single corner. But I feel like Vettel maybe being a bit hard done by with struggle. Wildcard Tsunoda. Again, love a little wildcard Tsunoda. Do like a little wildcard Tsunoda. Should have maybe gone Tsunoda for my own wildcard, because I do think he might do quite well this weekend, especially with that helmet. It's absolutely exquisite. But I went George Russell. Because I feel like it's got a George Russell qualifying brilliance into race doing pretty well, sort of written all over it. And then we've got Lewis, Valtteri, Max. Again, this is a very common top 3. Lewis, Valtteri, Max. Like, if you're a betting man, lots of people have gone for this, so it's probably not going to happen. Because mainly, Formula 1 this season in particular has just thrown up everything that we would never, ever, ever expect. So if everyone is expecting this top 3, probably not going to happen. Lando 4th. I like that you've chucked 4th place in there as an additional little bonus, a little bonus prediction from Jerome. Thank you, mate. 4th place Lando. Checo struggle. Yeah, I agree with you. Wildcard Charles Leclerc. Yes. And best drive Lando. I can see that. I mean, if Lando finishes 4th, it's probably going to be a pretty decent drive in a McLaren, to be fair. So yeah, I could see Lando getting driver of the day. Has Lando got a driver of the day this season? Must have. He's been so good. Must have. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I can definitely see Lando getting a driver of the day. Wildcard Charles Leclerc. What would a wildcard Charles Leclerc look like? If he's not in your top 4, I think to win wildcard, Charles Leclerc would have to get like 5th. Or if one of those guys drops out. So like if Valtteri drops out, Charles Leclerc slots in 2nd place. That is a hell of a wildcard pick you've gone for, to be fair. Seema, Lewis, Max, Valtteri. Again, that top 3. Hamverbot. Leclerc, again, best drive. Giovinazzi as a wild card. I like that. I like Giovinazzi as a wild card. And then struggle is Stroll. People are not feeling the Aston Martin team this weekend, are they? I mean, don't get me wrong. They messed up last weekend horrendously. But they've been okay throughout the season. They haven't been terrible. They've been worse than they'd have wanted to be, but they haven't been awful. But Stroll struggle. If people popped him in now, hang on. I'll hide it and I'll refresh it. We'll see if we can get any more going. If not, we'll go through some more tomorrow. But now, I've decided that, we should utilize this rich vein of people. I feel like I've said rich vein a lot recently. I feel like we should use this rich vein of ness. Oh, there we go. What are we going for? Hamilton, Bottas, Max, Sainz, best drive, wildcard, Lance Stroll, ladies and gentlemen, and struggle Gasly. Well, you've lost me there, unfortunately. You have absolutely lost me. It is not going to be Lance Stroll in the wildcard position, and it's definitely not going to be Gasly in the struggle. If you'd have flipped those round, I'd have maybe been on your side, but unfortunately you haven't, and therefore you've lost me a little bit. No, that's fair enough. I feel like Gasly, I don't know, I feel like Gasly's had his bad luck for this season. He's been very unlucky at a lot of races this year. And I feel like, if he could just end the season, just 6 races is all I'm asking for, Gasly. Just 6 races where you can just start and finish in 6th place, pick up consistent points, maybe sneak a podium in there. That's all I want from you. I'd love to know as well, do you think I should just wear, for my birthday stream, I'm just going to wear all the Formula 1 merch I get for my birthday. I've just decided that right now. So it's probably going to be like a Gasly hat. It's probably going to be like a McLaren jumper, maybe even a Gasly jumper as well. I've asked for quite a lot of McLaren / Gasly merchandise. So it's probably going to be that, possibly even a Ferrari stuff as well. Basically, no one knew what to get me. So I was like, just get you some Formula 1. I'll wear it on the stream. So now I feel like everyone is going to do that. Hello, Jocker, mate. I mean, you've come at a pretty poorly timed moment, because unfortunately it is likely to end very soon. We've gone over pretty much everything. We talked about Drivers' Championship, we talked about Constructors, we talked about the drivers' lids this weekend. I like the lids, not helmets, lids, because I'm cool, I'm down, I'm jiggy with it. And then we talked about, obviously, our predictions for the weekend. I'll pop the schedule up. So this week has been madness. 2022 calendar drop. So I had to change my video that was coming out earlier on in the week for the 2022 calendar reaction. If you want to know my opinions on 2022, I'm very, very excited for it. But I do have a few little reservations about it as well. So if you want to know my opinion on it, head over there. YouTubers decide Hamilton versus Verstappen. They are 5 different members of the community plus myself. I thought, 6 races to go, 6 points between them, 6 YouTubers decide who is going to win the title. And I won't spoil it for you, but YouTubers have decided, and it was interesting. It was very interesting indeed. Friday, today, is obviously the pre-race preamble. We've rambled, we've ambled on, and we've ambled on throughout everything. Don't worry, mate. You can watch it later. Connor as well dropping in. I feel like you guys are getting here just at the wrong time. And then tomorrow we are back. It's a little bit of a Saturday feeling. We're going to be edging towards the evening by the time qualifying gets underway. It's 5 o'clock my time, so it's going to be dark. It's going to be probably rainy and cold. So wrap up lovely and warm for some qualifying action. I feel like we could see like a George Russell or Pierre Gasly masterclass tomorrow. Like those guys have been screaming through qualifyings recently, and I feel like it could happen again. And then, of course, the race on Sunday, a little bit earlier, 3:30 GMT. So wherever that is in the world that you are. But 3:30, we will be here. We'll be live. We'll have half an hour or so chatting about qualifying. Then we'll delve straight into it. Also, feeling a little bit of a Twitch stream coming on. I've got a week off work next week. Of course I do, because that is how the year works, and therefore it means there's going to be lots of Twitch stuff happening on my week off. If you haven't followed me on Twitch, we're edging towards 200 followers. We're also edging towards 4,000 subscribers, so let's just get both of those things out of the way. Make sure you're subscribed, make sure you've liked the stream. We're heading towards 4,000 subscribers. I'd very much like to get at least 100 likes over the 3 streams this weekend, so we're edging towards that. And yeah, go over, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch. We're going to be doing lots of Twitchy stuff. Twitter is the place where I drop the sort of live stream we're going. So follow me there. Instagram's down there as well. A little bit of a Patreon going on. If you want to know a little bit more about me, my background, how I've been on YouTube for 10 years, I dropped a Patreon podcast where it's just me for 40 minutes or so, just talking about my YouTube journey so far. It was very nice, like almost therapeutic to get it out, but that is also down there, as well as a link to Freetrade. If you want to get yourself a share worth up to £200, there is a link in the description. If you sign up there, not only do you get a free share worth up to £200, you also support the stream completely for free. All you need to do is sign up, and of course you get some free money, I get some free money, and we're all absolutely laughing. Please be aware that obviously if you do put any money into Freetrade, your investments could go up, they could go down. Just it is the stock market, you know. Try and invest correctly. As much as that doesn't really make sense. Try and invest for the long haul. It's not about short wins, unfortunately. It's not a get rich quick scheme. But that is the way. Oh, breaking news we've got in the chat. Be very quick. Breaking news. Bottas new engine. Did we not know that already? I thought we knew that already. Bottas new engine. So again. So Bottas starting from the back of the grid again. What is Bottas doing to these engines? Is he just saving them up to take them to Alfa Romeo? Because he is absolutely going through these engines like there is no tomorrow. It does make me really worried that Hamilton is going to need like an engine or two before the end of the season. And if he does need an engine or two before the end of the season, we could be in trouble. Could be in trouble. Because, you know, it's very close. I'll put the Drivers' Championship. It's very close. And Hamilton needs every single point that he can. I don't think Hamilton can afford to start a race at 20th. I just don't think he can afford that. So, yeah. Be very interesting. We can chat a little bit more about that next time, I guess. But I'm going to leave it there. We've had a pre-race preamble. I've ambled and preed on for an hour or so. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe I'll have a new helmet by then. Maybe. I mean, I won't, but I might. Bye.